everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hope everybody's having a great day today. Hope everything's going your way today. Today, I'm coming with an update video, yes. Today, I'm going to be giving you an update of the products that I used in my Shop My Stash last month. Yes, it's all about the Shop My Stash updates today. So, if you want to just hang out with me and see what I thought of my Shop My Stash updates from last month, then just keep on watching, everybody. Let's get started. Man. Okay, guys, so yeah. There's absolutely zero time for small talk today, guys, because I'm really excited to get on with this here Shop My Stash update video. And while there are most definitely quite a few products that left me highly impressed, there's absolutely one or two products I could have done without, so yeah. Now's the time to let you guys, my peeps, know what these products here are all about. Bars. So let's get started. And I know most of you guys, my peeps, already know this, but for those of you who don't, my Shop My Stash updates are some pretty chill, laid-back videos. And they tend to run a little bit long. So now's the time to go grab yourself a snack, some refreshments, or maybe some libations. Because this Shop My Stash update here is about to be a barn burner. So let's get into this video. Okay, guys, and for my drink of choice today, I've got the Arizona All Natural Mucho Mango Fruit Juice Cocktail. This is one of my favorite fruity drinks in the whole wide world. Not just because it's absolutely delicious, but mostly because every now and then, at Walgreens or CVS, you can get these drinks for 50 cents a piece, aka $2 for $1. So I'm about to take a couple sips right quick, and then we're going to get started with this here video. Okay, guys, now that your girl's nice and refreshed, without further ado, let's get started with this update video, shall we? Okay, guys, first I'll be covering you guys on the skincare, then I'll move on to complexion and lips, and then we'll close it out with a bang, and I'll update you on the palettes. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about are the cleansers I chose, and the first one I chose is the Clean and Clear Morning Energy Shine Control Daily Facial Scrub. Guys, now this is not new to me by any stretch. This is my first time using this scent though. The one that I usually use is the citrus, the orange one. This smells more like lemon, but guys, that's the only difference. This works rather nicely. It exfoliated my skin almost as good as a high-end brand. And yeah, this was quite affordable, guys. I ended up paying $3.99 for this at Marshall's. And the bees, it's like they wake you up. I use this in the morning time when I want to feel fresh and awake, when I haven't had enough sleep. Yeah, this definitely does that for me. So if you ever wondering if the Clean and Clear Morning Energy Shine Control Daily Facial Scrub, all free, is the Bomb.Com. It absolutely, positively is. Okay, guys, the very last cleanser that I chose last month is actually by Dorian Renard. I chose the Butter Cleanser. Now, guys, wow, this cleanser, it does melt away makeup rather nicely. I mean, it does clean your face, but I found that it doesn't give me that clean feeling that I like. I like to feel the air hitting my face when I use a good cleanser to let me know that my face is clean, but I didn't get that with this, guys. It doesn't lather up. I wasn't very fond of that. But again, guys, I mean, it does melt away the makeup. And it does leave your face clean. Just not clean feeling, in my opinion. So, I will continue to use this as a melt away makeup only. Because after using this cleanser, guys, I ended up following up with another cleanser. Because I was worried that my face wasn't that clean. So, as for the Butter Cleanser, guys, it's not bad. It's not great. It's just okay. Okay, guys, now I only chose one cleanser last month, and it's by Farsali. I chose the Farsali Quench Moisture Replenishing Serum. Now, guys, this stuff here, I love, 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 love this serum, guys. Guys. First of all, a little goes a long way. When I first used it, I went on ahead and I decided, okay, Lily, just go ahead and fill up a dropper. So, you know, even when filling it up, as you see, guys, it only goes halfway. But when I say that's a little bit too much, guys, that's a little bit too much. Because, this is just a little bitty dollop right here. And we're rubbing it in, guys. I mean, that covered up my whole hand, and I still have quite a bit left. It's very moisturizing, very hydrating. I mean, on the days when I wore absolutely no makeup, this left me looking pretty refreshed. So yeah, I'm totally impressed with this moisture replenishing serum. I mean, so much that no, I've already done my stash for this month. I mean, I was a little out of sequence. I usually do my update videos, then my my stash, but for some reason I did it the other way around. So just know, guys, this is gonna be added in with the other serum that I chose. Cause yeah, this stuff is nice. I mean, it's really nice. So much that even if I skipped like a moisturizer, I was still okay. So yeah, If you were wondering, guys, if this is the Bomb.Com, it absolutely, positively is. Okay, guys, I only chose one moisturizer to use last month, and it's by Juno & Co. I chose the Juno & Co. Moonshine Miracle Cream. Now, guys, when I say I love this stuff, I love this stuff. Guys, I use this every day. Every day. I used it in the morning. I use it in the evening. I use it before I apply my makeup. Sometimes I use it as my primer. Yeah, this is definitely multi-purpose, guys. So much that, guys, your girl's been going at it, okay? I have really been going at it. And one thing I can attest to, Juno & Co. did say that this can be a primer and it can be a moisturizer all in one. And I must admit, guys, that's true. My makeup sits so well on top of it. Yeah, I mean, look, this is nice, okay? This is just a nice product. So, Juno & Co., a lot of times they have like buy one, get one free, or they'll have it on the special where it's like 30% off, things like that. And your girl, Lily, I stocked up. I have 2 more of these in my arsenal, which is probably why, I mean, I didn't feel so scared to go right at it and use it up. So yeah, if you guys do not have this moisturizer, if you guys have not tried this cream, what are you waiting on? If you're wondering if this Bomb.Com, it most definitely, absolutely, positively is. Okay, guys, now on the foundation. I actually only chose 2 foundations last month. The first one I chose is by Too Faced. I chose the Too Faced Do You Full Coverage Fresh Glow Foundation. Now, guys, one thing I will say about this foundation most definitely left me looking fresh and dewy. But what I really didn't care about when it came to this foundation, it says it's full coverage. But no, not really. No, not really. Not really. I have CC creams in my arsenal right now. They give me more coverage than this. I ended up finding myself, every time I applied this, like, using 3 to 4 pumps. And, it really shouldn't take all that, not for a full coverage foundation. And I would say that this is definitely a decent color for me, the shade Honey. But I feel like it's also a little too neutral. Maybe I needed something a little bit warmer. I don't know. I'm not sure. But while I did like this foundation and it did leave me with a nice complexion, this is not something that I would see myself buying again. It's actually not something that I really should have had FOMO and felt I would miss out, because I'm really not missing out on anything because I have so many other foundations that I like more than this. So much that I have been contemplating whether I'm even going to keep this foundation or not. So, looks like I have a choice to make in that area. But this might be one, guys, that, yeah, This might actually leave my collection. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just not saying it's great. It's just okay. Okay, guys, and the very last foundation that I chose is actually by Revlon. I chose the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Natural Finish Anti-Pollution Foundation. Try saying that 10 times fast. Guys, now, unlike the Do You Primer that didn't really knock me off my feet, yeah, this one was the Bomb.Com. It's the Bomb.Com. And I actually didn't even have to use that much. I think maybe two pumps did me well. One on each side of my face. This gives me nice coverage. I'm actually wearing that foundation today. And I find it does give a very natural finish to the skin. Guys, I have mine in the shade Honey Beige. And this is the perfect shade for me. Whew, guys. Now, I do know this goes on sale quite often. I actually got this when it was on sale at Ulta, and this is a very affordable foundation. This is one of my favorite drugstore foundations today. So, this is one that I would have loved to keep in my collection, but I feel like, I found myself picking this up like almost every time I use my makeup. After using the Do You 2 or 3 times and seeing I needed too much, and this one, I didn't need that much at all. Yeah, I've been using the mess out of this, so I feel like I want to save it. This is actually even good enough to wear, like, on a special occasion, like at a social distance barbecue, something like that. Yeah, this is nice for that. So, yeah, guys, yes. So, if you were ever wondering, if the Photo Ready Candid Foundation by Revlon is that good, it most definitely absolutely is. Okay, guys, now I only chose one new setting powder last month, and it's also by Revlon. I chose the Photo Ready Candid Anti-Pollution Setting Powder. And I actually use both shades I have, which I use 01 and I use 02. 01 I use to set my concealer. And then 02, I just use to set the rest of my face. Guys, now, when I say I use these powders almost every time I did my makeup, I use it almost every time I did my makeup. I think every time except for like 2 for number 2. But as far as my under eyes go, I use number 1 every single time I did my makeup. I would say this is hanging with the big dogs. This actually reminds me of the Pretty Vulgar setting powder a lot. It's very finely milled. It makes my under eyes look so nice, so smooth, just like a high-end powder, guys. I even found myself reaching for the 02 more than my Too Faced Born This Way Ethereal setting powder, guys. This is so light. And it's something about it. It works really well with the Photo Ready Candid Foundation. Yeah, that's a match made in heaven. And it works good with the Photo Ready Candid Concealer, which, yeah. I actually ended up adding that to my stash after shopping my stash with you guys, but we'll get into that later. But, yeah. These are the Bomb.Com. These perform like a high-end setting powder, guys. I actually like this almost as much as I like my Laura Mercier powder. And that's a tough act to follow. So yeah, if you were wondering if the Candid Photo Ready setting powders out of Bomb.com, they most definitely, absolutely, positively are. Okay, guys, now on the concealer. The first new concealer that I chose is actually by Dermablend. I chose the Dermablend Cover Care Full Coverage Concealer. And I have mine in the shade 40W. Now, guys, one thing I can say about this here concealer is it is full coverage. It's definitely full coverage. But the thing about it, guys, is it's a little bit heavy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, Lily, it's full coverage. Don't you expect it to be heavy? But no. The Urban Decay All-Nighter Concealer, that's not heavy to me at all. And it covers all my flaws, and I love it. This was just a little bit too heavy. And on top of that, guys, I ended up getting creasing. Now, I do get creasing with almost every single concealer that I use. But this one, I mean, this one was a little bit extra. And I don't know if it's just because of the shade that I chose. But this, I mean, I don't know, guys. It just seemed a little chalky to me when I was blending it out. So I may try this 1 or 2 more times. I don't know. Maybe 1 or 2 more times. Definitely not in the immediate future. Because, yeah, it's summertime. We do not have time to be looking like a greasy mess. So, yeah. I'm going to try maybe 1 or 2 more times. And if it does not knock my socks off, or if it does not change my mind, this is most definitely leaving my collection. Okay, guys, the very last concealer that I chose, off camera, of course, is by Revlon. I chose the Revlon Photo Ready Candid Antioxidant Concealer. Guys, now, this concealer here, this performs like a good high-end concealer. Guys, I use mine in the shade medium, okay? This stuff is the Bomb.Com. I actually used it today. And as you see, guys, you don't even really see any creasing. This here, this is a force to be reckoned with. It's so smooth, so creamy. What I do like to do, though, is I like to let my concealer, you know, sit under my eyes for maybe 30 seconds to a minute just to get optimum coverage. And even after waiting that amount of time, guys, with a damp sponge, it blends out rather nicely. This is a good shade for me. I mean, it just works really well. It works rather well, guys. I mean, so far, I'm kind of impressed with the whole Revlon Photo Ready Candid line, okay? So, yeah. I mean, there's no more to say here. No more to see here. It's quite affordable. It performs rather nicely. So, if you're wondering if this drugstore concealer is giving the high-end concealers a run for their money, it most definitely, absolutely, positively is. Okay, guys, now on the bronzer. I actually only chose one new bronzer last month, and it's by Morphe. I got the Morphe Glamour Bronze Face and Body Bronzer, and I use mine in the shade Big Shot. Guys, now, I mean, this bronzer has been a rave out there on the tube for quite some time now. This is not a new bronzer, not at all. And I was wondering if this bronzer was worth all the hype that's out there on the tube and on the gram and everywhere else. So I waited for it to go on sale, and then I finally purchased it. And I must admit, guys, I love this bronzer, guys. This bronzer is smooth as all get out. Now, I got the shade Big Shot, as I said. And this is a very nice shade for me. And guys, do you see that pan? I mean, this bronzer is going to last forever. If I would be willing to say, if there was only one sort of affordable bronzer that I had to use for the rest of my life, this definitely would be it. And yeah, I used it today, okay? And it just gives a nice bronze to the face, guys. I mean, I can't sing its praises enough. It is so smooth. I mean, guys, this is just the Bomb.Com, but I'm sure you already know that because you've seen 1,000,001 videos out there on the tube about this bronzer already. But guys, I like this bronzer. I like it a lot. So much that I almost like it as much as my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. So if you haven't tried this bronzer yet, guys, you are sleeping. This bronzer is most definitely, absolutely, positively the Bomb.Com. Okay, guys, now on the primer. I only chose one new primer last month, guys, and it's by Dr. Brandt. I chose the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Luminizer Primer. Guys, when I say this fills in every single pore you have, this fills in every single pore you have. This covered up all my flaws. Now, I will say this. This is definitely a primer that you want to target exactly where you need it. Nothing more, nothing less. This is not really an all-over primer for me, guys. Because while it is a little bit luminizing, It's a little bit silicone-y for me. It reminds me a lot of the Professional primer, which I'm not really a fan of. So yeah. So what I found is I target this like where I have the most pores, which is right in this area. And then I actually use it in conjunction with my Becca Backlight Primer. And these are a match made in heaven, guys. These are definitely a match made in heaven. So, I will say this. I got this actually in my BoxyCharm, and I don't know if they have it on the Boxy pop-up, but if they do, and you struggle with pores, this is absolutely positively a good primer. But if pores are not an issue for you, I would say you can actually skip this, because, yeah, I mean, while it definitely covers up your pores, and it fills them in quite well, I found that when using it on my full face, yeah, my makeup didn't look that great. So, yeah, I mean, as for me, guys, it's good for what it's meant for, but you most definitely want to stick to using it for what it's meant for, which is strictly to fill in your pores. Okay, guys, now on the blush. I actually chose 2 blushes last month. The first one that I chose is by Pretty Vulgar. I chose the Pretty Vulgar Magnum Blush in Sweet Revenge. Guys, now I got this on a steal. This was $5.99 at TJ Maxx. And I'm here to tell you now, guys, it's worth much more than that. It is a very nice corally shade. I mean, this is like a coral that I currently don't have in my collection. The consistency is so stinking smooth. And if I had to describe the shade, it's like if terracotta and coral had a baby, they'd have Sweet Revenge. And this blush, it builds up rather nicely. And this is what that shade looks like. And while it is mostly matte, it has just a slight sheen to it. Just slight enough to give you that nice, healthy glow. Now, I will say this though, guys. I mean, this will work for my fair tone beauties, my medium tone beauties, medium deep. I mean, you can get there. But any darker than that, this may not work out for you. But yes, I mean, I will say this though, guys. If you are anywhere from fair to medium deep, and you happen to see this in TJ Maxx or Marshalls, I would snag it up. Especially if you like coral blush, because this is most definitely a steal for real. Okay, guys, and the very last blush that I chose last month is actually by Kylie. I chose the Kylie Jenner Pressed Blush Powder. And I got mine in the shade We're Going Shopping. Guys, I must say, Lily. Guys, I must admit. Lily, you can't do this, okay? Not today, Lily. Not today. Guys, I must admit, I heard quite a few mixed reviews with the blushes that she came out before these, but these must definitely be a new formula because I absolutely love them. Guys, now this one is also a nice soft pinky terracotta shade. And one thing I will say about Kylie's blushes, at least the ones that I've used, they're very buildable, guys. They're very buildable. And this one is almost like a pinky coral shade. So yeah. So basically, if baby pink and coral had a baby, that's how we're going shopping. And like I said, guys, this is a nice formula, and they are quite buildable. So this is We're Going Shopping. So you see what I mean, guys? While it is pink, it does have just a little bit coral in it, just a little bit. And I will say this will go anywhere from, like I said, it'll go from like same thing with a Pretty Vulgar, fair to medium deep. Yeah, you're safe with this one. You're definitely safe with this one. Of course, her shade in Rosy, that goes much deeper. So yeah. But I like this, guys. I like it a lot. This gives me that little baby doll look. This is nice to wear when you have on minimal makeup. You know, just do some nice little flush to your cheeks, you know. Sweep it on your nose. You're good to go. So, yeah. And I think Kylie's blushes right now are currently on sale for like $8 on Ulta. So, if you were interested, guys, this is definitely the time to snag them up. Because, yeah, her stuff sells out rather quickly. And one thing's for sure and two things for certain. When it comes to her blushes, I can definitely, absolutely, positively see why. Okay, guys, I only chose one new finishing powder last month, and it's by NYX. I chose the NYX Professional High Glass Finishing Powder. Guys, when I say this makes your skin look almost like glass, it makes your skin look almost like glass. This is the finishing powder I actually used today. And guys, I mean, it's just something about this. I can't describe it. I was a little bit skeptical though when I first saw it, because when you look at it real close, and you guys probably can't see it, it looks like it has little bitty shimmers in it. But when you put it on your face, it definitely does not translate as that. It just translates as a very healthy glow. And I got mine in the shade medium, and this is the perfect shade for me. Oh, this just melted into my skin. And once I applied my setting spray, oh, everything just came together. And I do believe this is on sale too at Ulta right now. I mean, even if it wasn't on sale, guys, it's worth it at full price. This performs just like a high-end powder. I mean, I've heard nothing but rave reviews about this, and now I see why. So, if you were curious whether the high glass finishing powder does what it claims it does, it absolutely, positively does. Okay, guys, the very last pressed powder that I chose is not new by any stretch, but I still love it. I chose the BH Studio Pro Matte Finish Pressed Powder. And I use mine in the shade 235. Now, guys, does this remind you of anything? Anyone? 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 Yes. This is actually a dupe for the MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation. And yes, it's just as good as the MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation. Now, I'm in the shade 235, okay? And I would say the shade 235 is a spot-on dupe for NC42 and MAC. This is 235 in BH Cosmetics, and this is NC42 and MAC. Guys, when you see these one next to the other, they are absolutely twinning. Now, I will say this though, guys. The shade range in the BH Cosmetics, okay, it leaves a little bit to be desired. But I mean, it's BH Cosmetics. What can you expect? What can you expect? But if you can get this in your shade, I mean, it's definitely a steal. I think they keep this in regular rotation on BH Cosmetics for maybe $5.99, something like that. And it's totally worth it. So yeah, this is not leaving my collection ever, because I like to take this one with me traveling because it's affordable. And if I happen to leave it behind, I won't be as heartbroken. So yeah, if you were wondering, guys, if the Studio Pro is an absolute dupe for the MAC, it most definitely, absolutely, positively is. Okay, guys, now on a highlight. I actually chose two highlighters last month. The first one that I chose is actually by Maybelline. I chose the Maybelline Master Chrome Face Studio Metallic Highlighter in Rose Molten Gold. And guys, now, I absolutely, positively love the Molten Gold, just the original one. But this one isn't that bad. Now, I don't know if it's because I actually tried to repair it with my Mousse, but it just doesn't have the shine that it used to, guys. And I actually tried to use it on the side that I didn't repair, but it still doesn't do for me what the regular Molten Gold does. Now, don't get me wrong, guys, okay? This is a pretty nice highlight. And yes, I mean, it's a pretty nice highlight. But I feel like, I mean, it's just not, you know, it just is not as glowy and beaming in your face as the Molten Glow. This is more so a subtle highlight. So it's not bad, guys. I mean, it's not bad. But I feel like it's not really worth keeping in my collection, especially since I had to repair it. And I feel now that I have used it and gotten quite a bit of use of it over the month, I'm okay parting with it. So yeah, I mean, that's not bad. Don't get me wrong, guys. But I have other, you know, drugstore highlights in my collection that's killing the game more than this. So, I mean, it is a nice highlight if you like a nice subtle glow. But if you are looking for something beaming in your face, I mean, like the Molten Gold, you may not get that. But then again, guys, it could be just because I repaired mine and it lost its shimmer. But either way, guys, I mean, it's the end of an era. But this highlight is most definitely leaving my collection tonight. Bars. Okay, guys, and the very last highlight that I chose is by Kylie. I chose the Kylie Jenner Pressed Illuminating Powder. And I chose it in the shade Princess Please. Now, guys, I actually have all of the shades. I have yet to use them, but I purchased them because they were on sale at Ulta. And your girl legally can't resist the sale. And then here's what this looks like. Guys, now I will say this, okay? Kylie, okay, she has a very nice highlight formula. So this one, Princess Please, I would say it's a little icy for me. But nonetheless, guys, it's still a nice highlight. So that's what that looks like. And then here's what this looks like. Now, guys, again, now this one, this is not as beaming in your face as some of her highlights are because, like, she has one, I think it's called Iced Out. She has one called Champagne Cheers Darling. She has some nice ones. This one is like one of her more subtle ones. Okay, and guess what, guys? It's a good thing because it fell out of the pan. So why, Kylie? Why? Why? Well, anyway, guys, here's what it looks like. So yeah, I mean, Kylie made it pretty easy for me to make a choice. I mean, if you like a subtle highlight, this is most definitely the one for you. This will definitely work for my, like, fair tone beauties. Most definitely. This will work nice for an inner corner highlight. That is, if I still had it in the compact. But yeah, I guess, yeah, she just made it a very easy choice for me. If I still had it in the pad, I would definitely keep it. But since I don't, it's leaving my collection tonight. Okay, guys, I only chose one setting spray last month, and it's by Too Faced. I chose the Too Faced Prep Set and Refresh Hangover 3-in-1 Replenishing Primer and Setting Spray. Guys, now, I'm not sure if this is the same as the regular Hangover Setting Spray. It might be. But what I love about this one, guys, is it smells just like peaches. And unfortunately, guys, it looks like it's discontinued. Guys, now, this has a very nice mister, okay? I love the mister. I love it a lot. And it actually leaves your face looking nice and refreshed and hydrated, but set. Yeah, I use this for my setting spray today, and I absolutely love it. I mean, it's a shame, though, that the peach is, like, discontinued. I mean, they don't have it on the site anymore. It would be really nice if they brought it back, though, because, yeah, I could see this being a setting spray that I would buy over and over again. Not just because I love the smell, but because I love the performance. So I may get the Hangover 3-in-1 setting spray to see if it's the same thing, but it's just not going to give you the same feeling because this smells like peaches. So, I mean, if it ever comes in stock again, which I'm kind of afraid that it won't, I mean, it's definitely worth trying. But I'm going to go ahead and get the regular Hangover 3-in-1, and I'll be back to report. This is just that good. Okay, guys, now on the lips. I only chose 2 lip products to use last month. The first ones that I chose are actually by Lime Crime. I chose to use a few of my Lime Crime lip blazes. And guys, I think I have maybe every single one of the nude shades that they have. And I also have the red shade Mary Jane. But other than the red shade Mary Jane, I feel like all the other lip blazes are like a nude. So I'm actually wearing a couple on my lips today. So I actually have Bud, which I'm using like all over my lips. And then I'm using Rosemary as the inner corner pop. Guys, this formula is a Bomb.Com. Now, it's not matte and it's not a gloss. It's like sort of like a satin. And they're very comfortable. They are very comfortable on the lips, guys. And they are so stinking opaque. Guys, I mean, look at that opacity. That opacity can't be beat. And I actually got these on the steal, guys. I got these from TJ Maxx. I got a few from TJ Maxx, and then the remaining ones I didn't have, I got from Marshalls. But yeah, I believe I paid $5.99 for these. And these are regular. I'm sure they're $11 easy on the Lime Crime website. So yeah, I mean, if you like a good nude lip and you like a nice formula, I would highly recommend these lip blazes. Matter of fact, guys, I can't recommend them enough. Okay, guys, and the very last lip products that I chose are actually by DJ's Boutique. I chose the DJ's Boutique lip glosses. Guys, when I say these lip glosses are the Bomb.Com, these lip glosses are the Bomb.Com. Now, these glosses are actually DJ's, aka Just Peachy D's Boutique. Okay, it's on DJ's Unique Boutique. Yeah, and I had a link, you know, in the description box somewhere. Yeah, you can use Lelilivinglife for 10% off. Shameless plug. And yes, it is an affiliate code, and that's okay. If you're not cool using an affiliate code, I'm totally okay with it. Just go ahead and head over to her site. I have that link down below as well. But I mean, don't miss out on your blessing though. Now, guys, can we, it comes in 4 shades. So can we real quickly, do RIP for one of my shades? Because somehow, guys, I feel like one of my shades, grew legs, stood up and walked away. So she has 4 shades. This shade is Rosy Gold. It's a pretty rose gold color. This is actually my favorite. She also has Caribbean Waters. This is a pretty blue color. I mean, this is like my second favorite. Now, she also has Purple Unicorn. That's the one that somehow decided it no longer wanted to be part of the family because I can't find it anywhere. I like that shade a lot too. And then lastly, guys, she has Brown Sugar. Now, this is a nudie shade. And actually, guys, when I first started this video, I had this lip gloss on, you know, as a topper shade. So, let me just go ahead and freshen up my lips right quick. And guys, it is just something about DJ's lip formula that make your lips look nice, plump, and juicy. And Brown Sugar, this goes with a variety of different skin tones. This is pretty universal, guys. This is a nice shade to just throw in your purse and go. And not to mention, guys, the packaging is so stinky crude. And yes, all of these glosses were curated by DJ. She made these all by herself using her own formula. So, if you guys love a nice gloss and you love supporting an indie brand, a woman brand, black-owned brand at that, I will most definitely recommend you try these glosses. Because if you don't, you're sleeping. Okay, guys, now the part that everybody came here for, palettes. So the first thing I'm going to update you guys on are actually some singles that I chose. And I chose to use my DJ's Boutique singles. And guys, these singles are yet another thing curated by DJ using her own formula. She made these all herself, like handmade herself. And I love them, guys. I actually did a look using these singles, and I'm telling you guys, I'm impressed. And what I do love about her different varieties is you can either have more subtle shades, it's some in here that really take it there. You got a few that are multi-chrome, a few that are duochrome, a few that are strictly shimmer, and you even have some that will border even satin to shimmer. So guys, when I say this is Rosy Gold right here, this is my favorite color. I mean, as you see, I've been using this shade to death, and now I'm really going hard because my girl DJ, she gifted me another one. So she's in the process right now of making more, I'm sure. She has an IG video out there showing you that. And when I say this was the first shade to get sold out, this was the first shade to get sold out. But most of her shades now sold out. So when she does restock, I do recommend you get them. Let me just go ahead and swatch a couple of these for you right quick, because something about me feels like you do not understand. Most definitely something about it you don't understand. Guys, do you see those shades? Oh, do you see those shimmers? And do you see that shift right there? Guys, these shimmers look wet. So I will most definitely be on the lookout for DJ's second restock, because the third restock is a little bit pushing it. So yeah, if you are interested in quality singles at an affordable price by indie brand, I can't recommend DJ's Unique Boutique singles enough. Okay guys, and the very first palette that I chose is actually by Menagerie. I chose the Menagerie Pharaoh Eyeshadow and Pressed Pigment palette. Now guys, one thing I can say about Menagerie, she kills it on the packaging. This packaging is so stinking cute. But wait. Also, what I love about Menagerie is the design on the outside of the palette is totally indicative of what's on the inside of the palette. Guys, do you see these color story? Do you see these shades? This color story is so stinky cruel. Now, guys, I will tell you this, okay? This is not a buildable formula, not by any means, okay? I would recommend going in with a light hand if you want to build it up, because one dip in this palette, these shades are pigmented out the gate. And her shimmers is something about this shimmer formula that absolutely can't be beat. Guys, even this yellow is pigmented as all get out. Oh yeah. Guys, do you see these shades? Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy using this palette. I actually did a look that I posted to the gram using this palette, and yeah, I'm impressed. I have not used not one Menagerie palette that I was disappointed in. So if you were curious if Menagerie is all that, she's most definitely all that. Okay guys, the next palette that I chose is actually by Natasha Denona. I chose the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. Now guys, this palette, when it first came out, it was all the rave on the soup. I believe this came out during the time when, you know, warm tones was just coming into the game. Warm tones was heavy in the game at this time. Now, I will say this. This is a very pretty color story. And yes, this is definitely a quality palette. But I will say this, guys. Since the Natasha Denona Sunset palette has come out, there have been so many more warm tone palettes to follow that actually perform just that good, if not a little bit better, guys. So I did enjoy using this palette. Don't get me wrong. I'm never decluttering this palette. You can hang it up. One thing I will say though is this yellow down here. What shade is this? This is the shade Soul. Wow, it does look like it's a bit promising. Yeah, it takes a little bit of building up, guys. You definitely need to use a base when using that shade. But all of her shimmers, I mean, I don't need to tell you guys about her shimmers. Her shimmers are bae, okay? Her shimmers are bae. But again, guys, when I used it, it's not like I was wild or anything like that. But that's probably because, again, guys, there are so many that came after her that performed just as good, if not a little better. But if you are interested in this palette, and if you do like warm tones, I mean, and you like quality shadows, this is a nice palette. But I will most definitely let you know that as for now, guys, there are some on the market right now that's giving this palette a run for its money. Okay, guys, the very next palette that I chose is actually by a Black-owned brand, OPV Beauty. I chose the OPV Beauty Tropical Dreams Eyeshadow Palette. Now, guys, I mean, I don't have to say anything about the packaging because this packaging is gorgeous. But what's on the outside of the palette isn't half as gorgeous as what's on the inside of the palette. When you open up the palette, here are the shades. So as you see, guys, this is mostly a blue green based palette with like a pop of orange and like a little pop of red over here, guys. But what I will say is this: I love everything about this palette. I did a look using this palette. I think I posted it on IG. And I love it, guys. I really love this palette. I love the way it performs, the shades. Guys, now, these are some more shades that I find, yeah, you don't really get too many buildable moments with this palette. You really gonna get, like, Pigment straight out the gate. And the shimmers, I mean, they are nice whether you use them wet or dry. And this, like, lime green type shade right here is pigmented as all get out. Guys, do you see that pigment? And do you see how pigmented that green shade is without a base? Can you imagine what it would be like if you use a base? Yeah, this is a nice palette. And I actually got this off the Boxy pop-up, and I don't know if they still have it on there, but it's most definitely worth what it costs on a Boxy pop-up and more. So yes, if you like a blue-green color story, this one is killing the game. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. I can't even recommend it enough. Okay, guys, the very next palette that I chose is actually by another Black-owned brand, BBS Cosmetics. I chose the BBS Cosmetics Queen's Flower Eyeshadow Palette. Guys, now first of all, can we just give it up for the packaging? Okay, this artwork is the Bomb.Com. It's just something about these indie brands and their artwork. It kills the game all the time. But wait, what's on the outside of the palette isn't half as gorgeous as what's on the inside of the palette. Do you see this color story? This color story is the Bomb.Com. I love everything about it. It's like, it's so unique. I mean, it's bright, yet grungy at the same time. You can most definitely create an untraditional rainbow eye look, if you will. Because look, while you have that nice pop of blue here, this nice pop of yellow, you got your green, your purple, your blue. Oh, guys, that's like a fuchsia, if you will. And yeah, this is like a copper shade, and that's a light orange. And I also created a look using this palette. And man, this turned out a Bomb.com eye look. And I really enjoy using this palette. I enjoy everything about this palette. And I will tell you this, though. I found that even though the shimmers do work quite nice dry, I mean, you wear them with a little Fix Plus, they perform even better, guys. And here are what the shimmers look like. And they're almost jewel tone, right? Yes, definitely a nice selection of shimmers. And then here are some of the mattes in the palette, and these are so smooth. Yes, guys, yes. And here are what the shimmers look like. I mean, the swatches leave a little bit to be desired, but you get the gist. So yeah, this was nice. And I know that this was a very affordable palette. I don't know if I caught it on sale or not, but I do know it's definitely affordable for an indie brand, and especially for the quality that you get. So yeah, if you were looking for, you know, a small black-owned business to support, I would recommend BBS Cosmetics. I do have, I believe, maybe 1 or 2 more of her palettes, and I'm dying to use it, guys. I'm dying to use it. So yes, I really enjoy using this palette, and I'm so glad I have it as a part of my collection. Okay, guys, the very next palette I'm going to show you actually took the wind right out of my sails. And it's by Sigma. I chose the Sigma Quarter Rosa palette. Guys, now first let's get into all these positives, okay? Would you look at that palette? Would you look at that design? This palette is so stinking cute, so romantic, so girly. When you open up the palette, would you look at that color story? That color story is gorgeous, so girly, so feminine, so romantic, so cute. And it stops right about there. Guys, I really wanted to love this palette. I mean, this palette got rave reviews on the tube. Okay, it got rave reviews on the tube. Mel Thompson loves this palette. Emily Noel loves this palette. I think everybody and their mama loves this palette. I couldn't find not one bad review on the tube until now. Guys, I mean, I tried different techniques with this palette. I tried different bases. I tried it on the set base. I tried it on the wet base. I tried it on the tacky base. I tried it with concealer, P. Louise. I tried a partridge and a pear tree, and I could not get this palette to work how I wanted. And wow, you can make a palette work, and sometimes you may have to change your application style. I'm not one that too much likes to do all that sorcery and witchcraft when it comes to creating my looks. I like my method. And you guys already know, I like the reverse method. And one thing about the reverse method, if you are using underwhelming mattes, you are definitely going to know it. Guys, I had harsh lines all over the place. I had trouble blending out the shades. Now, I did have more luck when I started with a transition shade and I blended a darker shade over it. But it was just a little luck, guys, because the more I blended it, the more it blended away. Guys, the first look that I did using this palette, it had me ready to give up. I was going to my mom's. She had cooked a nice Sunday dinner, an after Easter dinner. Guys, I almost took the makeup off. I mean, the mattes were so patchy, so underwhelming. And I like to think that I know a little bit of thing 2 or 3 or 4 about applying a shadow. So, yeah, I mean, And as far as the shimmers, guys, okay, let's talk about these shimmers. Do you see that? You do know they have a name for that, right? You know the name for it? Hard pan. Guys, you have to be really, really careful not to dip anything wet, okay? You cannot, dip a wet brush into here because, as you see, the pan is going to get hard. But by the same token, if you try to apply it with a dry brush, you're not going to get any results. So, it's like 6 in one hand, half a dozen in another. Guys, I didn't like it. Now, I will tell you this, okay? This shade, once I did use a glitter glue, this came out rather cute, okay? But watch this, though, okay? When I swatch it, this is all you get, okay? This is all you get, okay? Okay, what is that? Okay, what is that? Okay, I'll tell you what that is. Underwhelming. Now, I will say this though. This burgundy shade right here, this is a nice shade, but then again, guys, that's more like a satin. So, I don't know, guys. I mean, I do not know. I mean, and the mattes, don't get me wrong. The mattes do have quite a bit of pigment. I will not lie to you. The mattes have quite a bit of pigment, but it's just something about the formula that if you're not careful, they are most definitely gonna blend away. So I found myself having to patch it up with my P. Louise base and then tapping shadow over it. I had to do too much work when using this palette. And now my girl KK, aka Colorful Camille, she just did her Shop My Stash, and she was talking about how it was something about this palette. She thinks it's gorgeous. She does not know why it's that she's not compelled to use it. Well, after me using it, I know what it is. It is her kindred spirit warning her not to use this palette. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I mean, if you had this palette and you like this palette and it works out for you, I'm glad for you. Go off. But as for me, guys, this is just a subpar palette, in my opinion. Even though it might be an unpopular opinion. This is most definitely leaving my collection tonight. Okay, guys, and the very next palette that I chose, I absolutely positively love. And it's by Violet Voss. I chose the Violet Voss Coral Crush palette. Guys, now, I know a lot of people don't like the design of her packaging on her palettes, but I do. I think this palette packaging is all stinking curled. And yes, I also love what's on the inside of the palette. Do you see that color story? This color story is gorgeous. This color story screams spring all the way. And now this palette is most definitely what it says. It's a coral-based palette. I mean, every single shade in here reminds me of a coral. The only thing you have here that's different is maybe this gold right here and then this yellow right here. But that adds nice dimension to the palette and the color story. Guys, now this, I love using this palette. I mean, no matter what technique I use, this turned out some Bomb.Com looks. Yeah, I love this palette. And one thing I could say, guys, Violet Voss, I mean, she has a pretty nice matte formula. She also has a very nice shimmer formula, in my opinion. I think the most underwhelming palette of hers that I currently, I'm in the process of decluttering is her Flamingo palette. But that's just because she has come out with so many more color stories that are much more interesting. Yeah, I mean, a few of those shades in that palette happen to miss the mark. So here's what a few of her shades look like. Ooh. Yes, guys. And one thing I can say about her formula, and while the swatches don't look all that good, guys, trust me. When you put them on your lid, they perform nicely. I don't know if I put this look out on the gram. I do know I had this palette on in one of my videos. I don't know if it was my boxy video. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, I love everything about this palette. And what I do like about it is this is actually a buildable palette. I mean, you can really dip your brush in there and get full opacity from the get. Or you can just brush on a nice light wash of color. Yeah, I love this palette, okay? This palette, now, this is a palette I would be willing to recommend to anyone who loves corals. This is the Bomb.Com. I mean, I don't need to gas up the palette, okay? This palette, when I used it, it spoke for itself. Guys, this is a nice palette. And it is on a boxy pop-up right now. I think it might be $18, something like that. Definitely more than half off. Yeah. If you're someone who like corals, and you like quality shadows, I most definitely recommend scooping this up for sure. Okay, guys, the very last palette I have to show you guys is actually by Poppy Cosmetics. I chose the Poppy Cosmetics See You Never palette. Guys, now, How I came to know Poppy Cosmetics was when she first came out with her Neon Drip palette. And that palette is the Bomb.Com. That's like a neon palette done right. Guys, do you see this color story? This color story is gorgeous. This is definitely a spring color story for sure. I mean, you've got everything that you need in here to create a nice spring pastel look. And guys, I love everything about the shimmers that I use. I loved everything about the mattes I use. Now, of course, you know they're going to pop better if you use like a lighter base. But I actually tried using them with like my Rumor 3 instead of my Rumor 0.05. And I still got opacity. Guys, now I did do a quick little IGT video on the gram using this palette. And I must say, guys, I'm impressed. Now, I did kind of want to use this, you know, for my my annual Easter eye look. But no, I saw the names of some of the shades. Yeah, and I decided against it, okay? Because, yeah, there's absolutely nothing Christian about the names of the shades in these palettes. Oh. Yes, guys. Yes. Guys, this is a pretty palette, okay? This is a pretty color story. I had no problem with the performance. This was one of the most simple pastel eye looks I've created today. And yeah, this was just easy to use, guys. It was just fun to use. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything about this palette, but I knew she wouldn't disappoint because her first palette was the Bomb.Com. So I'm looking for great things from Poppy Cosmetics because, yeah, she turns out a great formula. So if you're interested in a nice pastel palette and you like supporting indie brands, man, well, you just like nice shadow and a pretty color story. I absolutely, positively think this palette is most definitely the Bomb.Com. Okay, guys, finally, we've reached the end of this Shop My Stash update video. And if you're still hanging with your girl Lily, you're most definitely a real one. If you made it this far, guys, comment down below the fruit emoji that you think goes good with mangoes, because yeah, after this Shop My Stash update video here, your girl Lily's about ready for something cool in her cup. Trust. Believe that. So I really want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today while I shared all my Shop My Stash updates. Yeah. I always love connecting with you guys, my peeps, every chance I get. Every chance I get. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. It only gets greater later, guys. It only gets greater later. So until next time, guys, stay real, stay positive, stay up, and damn it, you better watch, fight, and pray. Holla!